thank you all so much to the speakers who went before me, to Rabbi Feinberg and Reverend Schreiber. It was such an honor to hear from you. And I was kind of hoping I would go right after Reverend Walren and just get up and say ditto. That was amazing. Whew. All right. Well, I think I want to take my few minutes up here really to express my gratitude to Peter. Peter has been an incredible friend and inspiration and mentor to me over the past few years that I've known him. He is just such a ball of fire and life, and it's been so good to get to know him. And every once in a while when I'm going through a hard time, I end up with a little prayer in my inbox, and I don't go to church often, and so Peter is like my lifeline to the divine. But we met right after Occupy Wall Street was emerging, and we would often get together and have coffee or lunch and try to figure out what was going on, and everything was so crazy, and what we were going to do with all this chaos. And since then, I've had the honor of getting to continue to work with him on some different projects related to faith-based organizing and economic justice. But at first, when I found out about this award, I got really mad at Peter. And we got together, and I almost was so mad that I burst into tears, because I thought, you know, our family does what we can to support the Mike Institute. And I thought, this is exactly the problem. This is why we have structural injustice and structural inequality and structural racism. Because when a person of privilege is given more and more privileges, and this is what Piketty showed. Thomas Piketty, you've all heard, it's almost cliche to mention him now, that his books are flying off the shelves. But he shows that the more privilege that you start out with, the more you acquire. And so I was so angry, and I said, Peter, this is the problem. I shouldn't get this award. Look at this room full of incredible people who are laying their lives on the line every day. And but then Peter came back with the best response, and he said, that's not what this is about. This is about revolutionary friendship. And that's what our movements need. And that's what we're here tonight to honor, which is friendship and solidarity. And so Peter sent a note to a group of friends that we were on the listserv together, and he gave this quick history of Western philosophy in like 4 sentences, including Thomas Kuhn's scientific revolutions and relationship between Descartes and Luther and Kant, and then he said, Karl Marx interprets modern capitalism. I hope you don't mind if I'm quoting a private email, but Karl Marx interprets modern capitalism as a strategy to control humanity through extinguishing humanity's revolutionary fire, so the individual can be ruled by the abstractions of the market, while commodities replace deep personal relations. So humans become the commodities, and the commodities end up replacing our relationships. So I just believe strongly that one of the most important strategies for resistance is to reclaim our relationships and to reclaim our love for our families and our friends and those around us that we struggle with every day. And so I also want to just honor some of the people in here that have been so important to me, Reverend Linda Terry Shard and Natasha Federal, and so many of you at the Sister Fund, and also my dad, who is a relationship therapist, and if you need marriage advice, you can go to him. And my mom, especially, most of all, who is just an absolute saint. So I want to thank you. And before I end, I just want to say that I grew up in a Southern Baptist family here in New York, but originally from Texas and Georgia. And over time, I lived more and more. I just got further and further away from faith, or from organized religion. But I still feel that social change desperately needs faith, because it's about imagining the things that we can't see and the things that are not present. And so we need to organize around love and faith, most of all, I believe. And we have so many good organizations in this city and so many good people in our faith communities, our faith institutions. And the question question I sit with always is, how do we move today from an array, a panoply of incredible organizations and spaces, and move together as a movement? And I feel today that there's an opening, and that people understand that we're headed in the wrong direction, and now is the time to really come together and to move together as a movement. So thank you all so much for all the work that you do, and especially the D-Mins at MICA, and to Peter and to Micah and LFC for all of the great work that you do. Thank you.